What's going on, current nerds? Welcome back to the Feel for Thought podcast. This is episode 38. I'm Jay.
Kevin,
And what are we talking about?
we're talking about the absolute bombshell dropped by Bugatti.
Bombshell, eh?
Yeah.
It's got to be a big idea then. What is it?
So, they confirmed like a couple months ago that the V16 will no longer be produced by them, and just left it at that. We didn't know what was going to replace it. And now they released a teaser video of a V16 engine.
V16, huh? So this is interesting because the W16 has been with the Bugatti since the original Veyron. So this thing has been used for a while. I don't know when the original Veyron came out, but
2000s.
yeah. So it's been probably close to 20 years that they've been using that engine. So now with their partnership with Rimac, I guess they're finally changing it up.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was interesting though, because Rimac is fully electric, so everyone, including us, we talked about it in the previous episode. We just assumed it was going to be, fully hybrid or fully electric.
Like everything these days.
Yeah. So for Bugatti to yet again push the boundaries with an insane engine.
How are they getting the approvals for this with emissions? That's what I don't get. Like, they don't have any cars that are, like, efficient, you know what I mean? That are, like, averaging out these emissions.
I feel like Volkswagen, because it's technically owned by
true.
Volkswagen. So like
They always
maybe
find
they're
a way, eh?
yeah, maybe they're claiming, well, technically we make little GTIs. Like,
Remember the emissions scandal? Yeah, that was great.
so anyways, this is big news because the V16 engine, hasn't really been a thing. It was in a commercial car in the 1930s when people were experimenting with cars, but we haven't really seen the return of it.
That's true.
Just simply because it's massive, weighs a lot, it's very, very long, and it just, it doesn't really make sense. So V12 is really the biggest engine we see commonly used.
Yeah, I mean, even that is huge for most cars. Like, and that means they need to have huge front ends, or if it's rear engine, it means the rear end has to be huge.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, can't even imagine with the V16. I mean, even the W12, you can see how wide it is because of how wide they had to make the Veyron. So,
Yeah.
can't even imagine what this would bring. But yeah, so do you know roughly like what size the engine's gonna be, like in displacement, or no specs yet?
No specs. It's just really like I watched the video. It's like 20 seconds. It's just them showing the engine. It looks surprisingly for like such a big engine, V16. It doesn't look that long or that big, but it's hard to say. Like, it's not in a car. It's just literally
True.
an engine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they've refined it to a point where it makes sense to use it. Like, I'm curious if it's longer than the average V12. It probably has to be, just
Yeah.
because there's 8 cylinders in a row instead of 6. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I guess it'll be interesting to see. Imagine opening that hood at a car show.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
But being that the Chiron is not done because the W16 is done, we did see news coming out of this, and including a couple people I follow, of the last Chiron. So the last 1500 horsepower Chiron was a special project that they made to kind of close off the W16 engine chapter of Bugatti, and they really wanted to make it special.
Yeah.
And the thing that I found surprising is the allocation she ended up in Canada, in Calgary. So
Interesting. Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Like, if you think about it, like in terms of exotic, especially hypercar market, Canada is not really.
Especially Calgary. Like, you
Yeah.
think maybe like Toronto, Vancouver, but Calgary.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And the story is actually pretty fascinating with this one. So this guy has been in love with Bugatti. I personally know him because back when I was car spotting, he would go to car shows, and at the time he had a Aventador, black Aventador, and he always loved Bugattis. That was his thing. He always dreamed of having one, and this actually happened. Like, he had to pay for this car and start building the process in 2021.
That's insane. So it's like a 3-year process.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly how it happened, but I'm assuming he approached Bugatti and was like, I want the most special Chiron you can make. And they're like, well, get the last allocation ever made. And
Crazy how he got that too. With all the rich people in like Dubai and stuff. Like, he somehow, got it.
yeah, well, the thing is, he released like when he announced it on his Instagram. He showed the spec sheet and all, and he blurred out the amount paid, but he didn't do a very good job. So he left the 3.
No,
from-
Jesus.
So he paid.
Not 300,000. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, definitely not. So he paid somewhere in $3 million for this
Let's
car.
hope it wasn't 30.
I mean,
That'd be
yeah,
insane. But yeah, definitely 3 million.
which is still like a lot of
It's a
money.
lot of money for a car.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
but
you could buy like, what, 10 Huracans for that price?
yeah, definitely 30 Huracans, right?
Hmm? Like is it like 300 grand you could buy like,
Yeah,
or like a cheaper Ferraris or something?
yeah. So it's pretty insane. He's the owner of some oil and gas company. Has been very prolific in the Alberta oil sands, and
digger.
yeah, and yeah, it's pretty impressive. The Chiron has been in production since 2016.
Mm.
And they build 500 units, and
It's actually quite a lot more than you'd expect. Because they are pretty rare to see.
yeah, for sure. Well, that's surprising because if you think about, let's say, the Aventador SV,
Mm-hmm.
they only made 600 units.
Yeah, exactly. And
So,
I feel like you see Chirons less than SVs.
I guess they're all locked up in the garage
Yeah.
because it's $3 million. a
Pulled
piece.
away, just rotting.
Yeah. But yeah, now let's move on to the engine because that's
Yeah, that's the star of the show, of course.
yeah.
Curious what kind of design they're going to go with, honestly. Like, I wonder if they're going to keep somewhat of a similar design to the Chiron or the Bugatti Veyron, or if they'll just go a completely new direction.
It's hard to say because now it's not just Bugatti.
Yeah.
It's now Rimac in the show. So like, I'm assuming they're gonna pull some designs from the Rimac cars, the Navera,
Yeah.
or complete new design team. So we'll see what it looks like. So there's renders going around, but there's no official like look at the new Bugatti.
I feel like it's going to look pretty sweet, though. Like, I feel like this is like a project in the making for a long time, so
Mhm.
I'm sure it's going to be pretty special.
Yeah, and I feel like Bugatti has never been one to shy away from being different.
Yeah.
That's always been their brand, really. It's just, let's push the boundaries and see what we can get away with. And I feel like Rimac is also kind of the same. Like, look, obviously they don't have that much history, but the fact that they've made the fastest electric car by a long shot, and just the battery technology and how far they've come
Yeah.
is really impressive. So both of them are, in my opinion, a very good match together.
Yeah, I think so too. And like, I mean, they've come a long way, and like the partnership of them kind of makes sense because Rimac makes like the fastest and most powerful electric cars, and then Bugatti makes some of the fastest and most powerful gas cars. So combining those two things, like they're gonna make some insane hypercars down the line. So very curious to see how that goes.
Yeah,
Is there a release date for this, or not really?
no,
Mm.
no release date, but it's a good sign they're starting to tease some
Yeah.
of the new cars. So, it is being built. They know what they're building, and there's prototypes driving around. So that's always a good sign.
Let's hope it's they build it before, gas engines get outlawed completely.
Yeah,
Who knows when that'll be? Especially in Europe, it's probably going to be by like 2030 or something. I don't know. They always say targets, and then I don't know if they're real, but
they try their best.
scary.
It's
I don't want
hard
it
to
happen.
yeah, it's hard to phase out a complete
Yeah,
like passion and like
Yeah.
a whole car industry.
the passion part I get. The only thing I wonder is like in Europe, like you technically don't really need a car. You can like, especially like I'm from the Netherlands, you can go anywhere in Holland by train or like walking. Like the country's 300 kilometers end to end.
Yeah.
But like a place like Canada or Russia or the United States, you can't really get around without a car. Like
Yeah.
even if they are electric, like you need some kind of transportation.
That's true.
So I feel like that's maybe why Europe is a bit more strict. But anyway, getting off topic. But yeah, I don't know if this will get outlawed in Europe before here. But I feel like here might be, accepted for longer periods of time.
Yeah. Yeah. So the engine, we don't know much about it. We know that it's a V16. Matt Rimac, which is the CEO of now Bugatti, has kind of hinted at saying like we have a lot of technology with Rimac, and it's not going to go unused. So we don't know if the V16 is going to be powered by turbos. The suspicion is it's going to be hopefully NA, but supplemented with hybrid technology.
Yeah.
Because there has to be some sort of torque. Like, this is going to be a very beefy engine, but I don't think it would be good on torque.
No, definitely not. It's gonna be pretty insane to see though. Like, I wonder if there's gonna be like, maybe not turb skis, but maybe there'll be like some crazy new technology, like what Koenigsegg's doing with like the gearboxes and stuff. Like, who knows what they're gonna come up with, and maybe stuff we don't even know about. So
Yeah.
it'd be cool to see.
And one of the things that, you know, is kind of concerning is we're just looking at the platform. So Bugattis have always been super heavy. We're talking about the Veyron, super heavy car. Chiron, same thing. This car is probably going to be the same thing because we have a V16, maybe turbos, maybe not, a hybrid technology, so
Probably
battery
batteries,
packs,
yeah.
and electric motors. Most likely going to be all-wheel drive. You got the comfort of Bugatti. You know, it's not a race car; it's a comfortable car. So, you know, like big seats and upholstery and all that. But this thing's going to be heavy.
Yeah, it's gonna weigh probably the same as a Cybertruck or something.
Yeah, yeah, because batteries are long. Like, even the Rimac Nevera is super heavy.
Yeah.
That thing
Yeah, there's no
is-
way to make those battery packs light. So I mean, unless they come up with some new technology, I don't know how that's gonna work. But
Yeah,
then again, you also don't have, well, in a fully electric car, you don't have the full motor either. So that also saves weight. So it kind of balances out. But in this case, in a hybrid, I don't know. It's
they're
gonna
not
be heavy.
saving.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a V16, which is probably going to be the heaviest engine.
Yeah.
Plus batteries. So
They're gonna make up for it in power, I guess, though.
yeah, so like right now the Chiron is 1500. I think the Super Sport is 1600. So this thing's probably going to be 2000 horsepower. I wouldn't doubt seeing those figures.
Yeah, that'd be. I can't even imagine that. Like, my car's not even 500, so
Yeah.
4 times that. Yeah,
It's-
it's just insane.
And like, obviously I've never driven Bugatti, but the overall experience for people that do drive it is it's so comfortable and so smooth that you don't feel
Yeah,
the power you have with you, which is
and just cruising down like a nice like road that has houses alongside, and you're like, oh shit, I'm doing 180. You know, like, you didn't have any idea because it's so
Yeah.
smooth.
yeah. So it'd be interesting to experience.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, such smooth and comfort, speed.
Can you imagine that thing full out there with the all-wheel drive? Like, I think your organs would literally go out of the back of you.
Yeah, that's
Kind of terrifying. I don't know.
like, it's a lot of horsepower, but all electric cars are still faster.
yeah.
So
It's
really,
interesting. Probably that torque, like a
Yeah.
low-end torque.
but this thing still has like a lot of torque to.
True. I still want to see, like, once this is out, it'd be really interesting to see, like, the Rimac Nevera versus this, like a drag race. That would be really cool to see. Because
Yeah.
I'm sure, like, low end, like, the Nevera would obviously clap the thing, but I wonder, like, high end. Depends on which one weighs more, too, which is probably this one, but
Yeah,
who knows? Who knows what kind of weird technologies or crazy gearboxes they're going to put in it, so.
it's really exciting to
Yeah.
see what comes out of it. But also,
Finally, some good news.
it's a weird place because they're kind of competing with each other now, Rimac and Bugatti. I mean, sure, the Rimac's fully electric, but they're both hypercars. They're both insane speeds. They're both very limited, very, you know, wealthy clientele. You know,
Yeah.
Nevera is like minimum $2 million
Yeah, exactly.
and limited to 150 units. This thing's probably going to be the same thing, limited, super high price tag. So it's kind of a weird spot because they're technically both different companies.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. Yeah, I feel like this partnership really spiced it up a little bit. So it's gonna be a very big change, I think.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see. We'll for sure, you know, if
Yeah.
as more news comes out, we'll for sure cover it.
Your news anchors.
Yeah, and I'm assuming they're going for the fastest car, securing the,
I'm sure,
the
yeah.
spot again, because I think right now the Chiron Super Sport 300 Plus has the title of fastest car, but the Koenigsegg Jesko Absolute is coming for that,
I
right?
feel like they just keep adding words and hoping that they're faster.
Yeah, it's becoming a mouthful. But
Yeah.
once the Koenigsegg beats that, I'm sure they're gonna use some version of this one, 300 or 350 plus or some ridiculous version like that to then take that title back.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see. I'm curious if there's a speed that we can reach where the rear wing just starts acting as like an actual wing and it just takes off.
That'd be dope. Yeah,
Instead of downforce, gives it upforce.
that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, what are your thoughts on this thing? Let's look at the picture here.
Yeah, I mean, the prototype looks cool. I don't know what the hell that wrap is, but
It's they always do this with these prototypes. It's like a really spotty, like complicated wrap just to because it helps hide the body lines,
that
so you
makes
can't
sense.
really like make any sense of it.
interesting. I mean, if it looks anything like the current Chiron, I think it's going to be quite the marvel, especially with a V16 engine and like who knows what other technologies. So I mean, my first impressions is like, holy shit, I can't wait to see this thing. Like, if we can ever see this at like a car show or even like Geneva or something where it gets revealed, like
Yeah.
seeing it at something like that would be insane. Not to mention seeing Putty. Not to mention when you see that's so sudden. Oh, I'm definitely leaving that in there. Not to mention just seeing it like driving around the street. Like I can imagine, you see a Chiron at a car show and you're like, holy shit, that thing looks awesome. But like seeing one of these would be sweet. That thing with the hood up and stuff. I hope they make the engine bay look cool because I always love when they do that. Like with the F12, you got the red like Ferrari like intakes and stuff. Like it looks sick. So I'm hoping they do something like that. But my first impression, I like it. How about you?
I agree. I love that they're still pushing the boundaries.
Yeah.
Because for a while I feel like everyone was kind of worried, like, oh, is this just gonna be some hybrid? No.
Yeah.
Just like everything else. But no, well, it might still be a hybrid, but it's exciting. It's a V16. We've never seen that.
Yeah.
I mean, in our lifetime, and
Yeah.
most likely will be the last V16 ever made.
It's crazy.
So I love that they're pushing the boundary. I really hope. I'm not a big fan of the look of the Chiron, especially in the back. I feel like it's very bulky. So I'm hoping it looks more like a sports car.
Yeah, agreed.
Because I feel like the Chiron looks more like Bentley.
Yeah, I was actually, and I mean, even with the W engine, it has that same idea too.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's, I'm hoping it's not too long either. Like, I'm hoping they don't stretch it out to like 5.5 meters.
Yeah.
It's just like ridiculous and then make it less wide. That would just, I don't know. I don't know what they're planning on doing, but yeah, a little, like a wide car looks good, but more aggressive lines maybe. Like, I'm thinking more towards Huracan territory with that front end. That would look pretty cool. Even the Rimac Nevera, like something like that, using kind of some mix and match styles of both of them.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And hopefully, obviously, they'll most likely have the horseshoe grill, which is like a staple to the Le Mans racing, which is how Bugatti got funded.
yeah,
I'm hoping they have that. They usually do have some sort of heritage back to their racing. Like they have for the Bugatti, they had special editions for the drivers that won Le Mans races or important races for Bugatti. And I'm hoping they bring that back because it's always been, I feel like, a staple for the brand.
yeah, I agree. I feel like we all got to get back into this.
Yeah, and a good way for them to make money. They slap on someone's name, charged 500,000 more, and bam, done.
Yeah, it's insane. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where this goes. I feel like it's kind of the start of a new era of like,
Yeah.
these like last hurrahs kind of these huge engines, and everyone's just kind of going balls to the wall with these and just putting as much out there as they can before everything goes like electric or whatever else.
That's
So,
true.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But yeah, excited to see this thing in real life.
Same. If you guys are curious, we're gonna link the video by Engineer Explain, who went over the engine and kind of more engineering side, less, I guess.
Yeah, just explaining how it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting video. I haven't watched it yet, but I definitely.
How do you know it's good? No, I'm just kidding.
because I've seen videos from this guy before, and it makes sense. And he takes a concept like something complicated and makes sense.
No, I think you've showed me this. Yeah, it is a good channel actually. But yeah, check it out. It'll be down below. Anything else?
That's it.
Sweet. All right, guys. Thanks for talking about Bugattis and Rimacs with us today. We'll see you next week for episode 39.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.